perspective, according to the Lending Tree website, people in Minneapolis and St. Paul stay in their homes around 16 years.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. So it's not like most of us are constantly dealing with real estate terminology, and then frankly, after you finish moving, you never want to think about it again.
You forget about it. You go to therapy so you don't remember any of it.
It's like childbirth.
Our friends from DeRoche Realty Group and eXp Realty, they use those words all the time, and they're here to give us all a little refresher on what they all mean. We welcome back Julie and Daniel DeRoche. Hi, guys.
Friends, it is good. You're prepared for this kind of stuff, so when you decide to move and make that big change, it's not just like this overwhelming feeling of information. And they're going to start by saying, you need to give us some earnest money when you want to buy a house.
Who is Ernest and why does he want our money? Explain what this is, Julie.
What is it?
So earnest money is the money that you give at the time of an offer, and you're giving it to the sellers in earnest, stating that you will close on the property. So it's saying, sellers, please take your house off the market for a month, month and a half until I close. I'm going to give you this money, and if I don't close, you can keep the money.
Is there a standard amount, or Daniel, is this a percentage dependent on the value of the home being purchased?
Usually 1% is a very common number.
Okay.
But to follow up on that, it is subject to another word we're going to talk about in a bit, contingencies too.
Okay.
Well, listen, you started the party. Let's just go right there.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
Contingency, I hear things like, are you non-contingent? There are other times when things are contingent. Which one's good, which one's not so good?
Well, the three big ones are, they're contingencies, so subject to the sale of another home. So your offer is contingent on the sale of another home.
Okay.
Your offer would be contingent on a home inspection, and your offer is typically contingent on financing unless you have a cash buyer.
So generally, there is a contingency involved in almost all real estate transactions, right? Because you get it, most people get the home inspected.
They do,
Yeah.
yes.
A lot of the multiple offer stuff that's been going on though lately, we're seeing like offers coming in cash over list price with zero contingency.
Let's just.
Where are these people and their
don't know.
pools of money? I mean, what is happening here? It's
I would like to
unbelievable.
direct them to my neighborhood,
No
though.
kidding.
Soon.
My goodness, no
Crazy.
kidding. Wow, that's really something. So that's one way where if you really want to buy a property and you have checked it out, you might get to the top of the pile if you just say, look, we are fully non-contingent and here's our offer.
Yeah, here's our earnest money and maybe more than 1%, like maybe do 2%. No contingencies, you're pretty much going to get it.
Because the earnest money goes towards the house. It's not like
It
it's
does.
an
Included in
extra
your down
additional.
payment.
It goes towards your
Part
down
of it,
payment.
yeah.
Right. So then that's
yes.
kind of fun because you see one minus in the things that you owe when you get to the closing date. Oh, we already paid that.
Right.
Thank the
Thank
heavens.
the Lord in heaven. Now, I always get a little bit confused with appraisal. So let me just use some round numbers that I'm making up now. Let's say that there's a house for sale for $200,000. You're listing it at $200,000. And then if someone comes in and says, I'm going to buy it at $200,000, you still then have to have an appraiser that comes in and says it is worth $200,000?
Yes, if that person's getting a loan. So if that
Okay.
person's financing it through a bank, that lender's going to want to appraise the home. And they're doing that to make sure that they're giving this person money to buy the home. They want to make sure that it is actually, in fact, worth $200,000.
Oh, question.
I have a question.
Please.
Because sometimes appraisals can feel like they come in low, whereas the value of your home is ultimately what someone is willing to pay for it. So if you have 200 and the bank says, hey, we think it's worth 150, then there's some sort of a rub here. And then does someone have to come out of pocket and provide more cash to make up for that?
It's like you're
I'm working with a couple of realtors, actually. Maybe you guys are
Exactly,
teaching
yes.
me.
If the appraisal comes in low, that buyer has to come up with more cash.
So that's why it's helpful to have a realtor, because you guys, I mean, I know you're not appraisal. You're not going to be doing an appraisal, but you probably know what a house is worth when you look at it and you look at the comps and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, but it's one person's opinion.
Right.
Protecting the bank. So
Right.
it's one person's opinion, protecting that investor. But, we see it all the time where an appraisal comes in low and that buyer will actually say, well, we want the house and we don't have the money to bridge the gap. What can we do? They actually will swap lenders, get a second appraisal, and you'd be surprised how often that second appraisal comes in at value.
Wow.
Okay, very quickly, let's move to this because we have a quiz that we'd love to get to. What does the term as is mean in real estate?
Well, it basically means you're buying the property as is after closing. A lot of people actually confuse that and think that they can't do their inspections. As is simply means after you close, you can't go back after the seller for something. So the seller could technically be hiding some stuff, lying maybe. So you want to make sure that if you're buying as is, you have a really solid inspector and you really know what you're getting into, and maybe even add a little warranty or something to cover your butt. But
That's good to know that if
Yeah,
it says,
no kidding.
because you see a lot of listings and they'll say as is. Okay, we have an acronyms quiz. Oh, exciting.
Yes, you guys know the answers. We are the students here. HOA is our first one. Play along at home. I think we know this.
Let's do it. Ready?
Homeowners Association.
Yeah, something I don't want to be part of. Got it. Homeowners, I mean, because I have like a deep fear of people within an association. I already have the city telling me what to do. I can't have the association
You don't
telling me
want
what
Jan
to do.
down the street saying, all right,
You've
take that
got to
door
know
down.
what the rules are of an association if you're getting in one, right? And how
do.
much it's going to cost
Yeah.
you.
And they're, I mean, they're very common in condos and townhouses.
Right.
That you usually have to have them. Most of them will. But a lot of people don't understand that some single-family developments have homeowners associations.
And then they might regulate on your chicken coop.
yeah, exactly. Chickens, no parking your snowmobiles in your front lawn.
Yeah.
All right, next one, MLS.
Major
is
League Soccer.
We're
a
going to
new
double down.
stadium.
We're going to do Major League Soccer final answer.
Yeah,
is
final
that right?
answer.
Incorrect.
Oh, what does MLS
What is
stand
it?
for?
What does it stand for?
Multiple listing services.
Oh.
So it's really, pretty much every real estate website out there is a version of it. In the Twin Cities, we have like the Bible of it. It's called North Star
And
MLS.
that's like the OG.
Yes, exactly.
The OG.
CMA is not Country Music Awards. What does it mean?
Comparative market analysis.
Oh, those are comps.
Comps,
Those
yes.
are comps. So
Comps
when
are
you're selling your
important.
house, you got to look around at other houses that are kind of like yours in that same neighborhood.
Yes, it's what we do to kind of come up with a value to list your home at. So
And-
we'll
and
look at
sometimes-
active, solds, and pendings.
And sometimes it can be surprising. You're like, wow, you think it's worth that? This is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower.
Sometimes
you're
Others
really
surprising.
disappointed.
You guys,
I'm getting,
good stuff. Good
I'm getting
advice.
anxious. We can't talk about this anymore. We're going to be selling our house.
I
soon,
know.
So we have,
It's
we're in a
exciting
con-
stuff. It's going to be a
con right
lot.
now.
Just bake warm cookies, and then when people come in, you should have a picture of yourself at the front that says, "This is Steve Patterson's house. You should buy it for double what I'm selling it for." If you're planning on buying or selling a home, Julie and Daniel can help. Go to TwinCitiesLive.com, click on Fun for their contact information.
And thanks to DeRoche Realty Group and eXp Realty for sponsoring Twin Cities Live.
Listen, if these two can handle us,
Oh, but they can handle you
anything.
guys.
Yeah, they can.